The San Diego City Council took a break from its summer break for a special meeting today on whether to appeal a ruling on the convention center expansion funding. Council President Todd Gloria joins me to talk about the city's response to the ruling and a full agenda of hot-button issues facing San Diego when he and his colleagues return from vacation next month. As you well know, the 4th District Court of Appeal turned down the city's plan to finance the convention center expansion through a levy on local hotels. Short of appealing this ruling, what options does the city have to get this expansion financed?
Well, if we choose not to appeal, which we'll make that decision later today, we could put this before the voters as soon as June of 2016 for their approval or consideration, or we can go back to the drawing table and try and come up with either a new financing plan for the existing project or try and envision an entirely new project that may or may not include things like a new Charter Stadium.
Make the case for this convention center expansion. Why is it needed?
Oh, that's an easy thing to do. We are currently in a position of turning away a year's worth of business from San Diego. These are conventions and events that want to be here, but we can't accommodate them because our facility is not large enough. The best example, of course, is Comic-Con, who have grown with us, but have said very clearly they need additional space or they may go somewhere else. The other reason we want to do this is that it creates thousands of permanent and construction jobs. It improves waterfront access and creates a new park for downtown San Diego. There are a multitude of reasons why this project was able to get through a lengthy public review process and gain the support of the City Council, and that's why it's so disappointing that we've hit this roadblock with the district court opinion.
Let's move on to the minimum wage. Mayor Faulkner, actually the City Council overrode Mayor Faulkner's veto of the minimum wage hike, which would go to $11.50 per hour by 2017. Now there's an effort underway to put the issue to voters. There are echoes here of what happened with Barrio Logan, the Barrio Logan plan, where the City Council approved the plan. It was put to citywide voters and ultimately defeated. Is this the ultimate in democracy, or is it an attempt to circumvent the Democratic majority on the City Council?
It's a perversion of democracy, and it's not just the Barrio Logan plan. We've seen this with medical marijuana dispensaries, commercial linkage fees, big box retailers, and more. And I think, or I fear, that we'll continue to see in the future. Essentially what you have are people who are wealthy enough to try and purchase the result that they couldn't get through the normal democratic process. The council has made a position or taken a particular tact, and we are elected by the people, and these folks simply see an opportunity to pay a couple $100,000 to some signature gatherers and overturn that result. I hope that that won't happen in this case with the minimum wage. We have too many people that are counting on an increase in their wages because they don't make enough to live here, and it would be, I think, a very sad day if a few very wealthy individuals could purchase the result that they could not get through the democratic process.
As you know, the signature gathering process has become very heated with allegations of harassment, distortion, even signature or petition theft. Where do you think the public stands on hiking the minimum wage?
Well, I know that they're very supportive of it. I know that both the research, where we know the poll recently showed that 63% of San Diegans support the $11.50 an hour that the council has adopted, and then just through my own personal experience. I can't go anywhere in this town without someone coming up to me and just saying, thank you. Thank you. I'm not making enough to live in this city. This would mean another tank of gas a week for me, and you don't know how important that would be for me individually. These stories are what's reflected in those poll results, and why I think that folks ultimately, even if this were to be put on the ballot, will be successful in enacting it, because it's just so simply hard to keep a roof over your head and food on the table.
Okay, but as we saw with the Barrio Logan plan, public support doesn't necessarily translate into voter support.
Correct.
I mean, in terms of people actually getting up and going to the polls. How do supporters of the minimum wage hike get these people to the polls?
Well, we would have to mount a campaign. But I think importantly, why we don't want to go that way is that if there are enough signatures collected, this would put the proposal on ice for 2 years. And that means that those increases that are forecasted, the earned sick days that have been enacted, would not go into effect. And that means that for low-wage workers who are currently having a hard time making ends meet would receive no relief for at least 2 years. And that's why we don't want to repeal this. I would encourage your viewers not to sign the petition. But if we do go that way, we'll have to mount a campaign. And I think that's probably one of the best arguments for not signing the petition. I think San Diegans need a few or less pieces of political mail in their mailbox and a few less commercials on television. But if that's what we have to do, that's what we'll have to do. But this is a cause that's worth fighting for.
Council President Todd Goya, thanks so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.